This program was made possible with the generous support of the Magnolia of Millbrae. The Magnolia of Millbrae is a senior living community that provides a variety of services and amenities to its residents. For more information, call 650-697-7000 or visit their website at www.themagnolia.com. MCTV thanks them for their support.
Welcome to Wellness Update. My name is Sherry Plambeck. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing at the Magnolia of Millbrae. We are a senior retirement community located in Millbrae. We offer independent living and assisted living. Today our topic is maintaining strength and flexibility through yoga. And our guest is Kaye, founder of Grace Yoga Studio. Dana, welcome.
Thanks, Sherry. It's so good to be here.
So tell me, Dana, what led you to study yoga?
Well, I have a varied background, shall we say, and I did a lot of work in public health. And later I became the executive director of the Lung Association, learned a lot about lung health. And then after that I was worked at a Cancer Supportive Care program, 2 different organizations. And in Cancer Supportive Care, I always would hire a yoga teacher because our clients would feel so much better after they had yoga, amongst other programs. But yoga just seemed to really resonate with them. And I more and more got into the idea that I would prefer to be the yoga teacher as opposed to hiring the yoga teacher. And so I began down that road.
When did yoga first start?
You know, yoga is a very, very old tradition. So we're looking at least 5,000 years ago in India. And obviously that long ago, there wasn't any way to write it down or film or make any, transition to the next generation. And it was just talked about and taught from guru to guru. And then it was, around the villages, people would learn how to do yoga. They would learn all of the techniques. And it was just continued to be passed on word of mouth. Then about 2,000 years ago, there was the ability to actually document the information in writing. And that's where we come up with the Yoga Sutras, which is just all about the breathing, all about the different philosophies that do it, as well as all of the things that go with yoga. So not just the breathing and not just being in crazy postures, but the whole gambit of, doing no harm, taking care of yourself, being kind to others, meditation, breathing, and of course asana. So it all sort of comes together, and it it really just made an impact and became a variety of different things from there. So even though these traditions were handed down, there's always variations from the theme. So we have a lot of that we see now.
And in the late 70s, that's really when yoga became very popular in the United States.
It is. If you look back, even when the Beatles went to India, that was kind of one of those highlights in yoga. But yet, a lot of people came over to the United States, and people in the United States became interested and studied in India. And it just blossomed from there. So a lot of gurus came over, some of them with very traditional ideas, and the same is true. We've passed it on from generation to generation since the 70s now.
What does yoga do for a person?
I think it's a long list of things, but
Tell me.
Let's start with just increasing strength. So interestingly, the postures can be done sitting, standing, lying down, but really you do increase your strength. It has a lot to do with flexibility, so the more that you do, the more flexible you become. So those are 2, I think, part of the most important pieces physically, but then it's the ability to connect with yourself. So yoga is not something that you do and see if you can do it better than somebody else. But yoga is...
So it's a non-competitive sport.
It's very much non-competitive. It's really about centering and becoming one with yourself and challenging yourself to become better and better at certain things that are, make up yoga. Whether it's your breath work, whether it's strength and flexibility, all of those things become your challenge to yourself.
So how does one learn to breathe?
Well, I think you probably need a pretty good teacher to teach you how to breathe. I mean, we can talk about it, you can watch videos. Obviously, there's a lot of other ways to learn now, but I think learning from a teacher, learning from somebody who has taken the time to learn yoga and learn how to do breath work, we call it pranayama. In yoga, pranayama is one of those things that there's a variety of ways to do it. And some of it seems maybe even a little bit crazy because it's come from India, right? And we've watched these gurus do it. You watch people do it on videos or look in books, and it is sometimes maybe alarming. But interestingly, if you do it and do it correctly, whether you do it just a little bit or a lot, it makes some very noticeable physical transformations within somebody. And I think once you learn it from somebody that can teach you well, then it's yours forever. You can pull out that breath work whenever you need to.
And how do you learn to meditate?
Same thing. I think, again, it's all about yourself. You're meditating because you need to be in touch with you and take time away from your busy world, stop your busy mind, and just relax. And one of the ways to do that is to meditate. And there's a variety of ways of meditating. You can do it with being guided. You can do it following your breath. But it's really important to find someone that can teach it to you so that you really understand how to do it and sort of be able to incorporate that into your own mindset, and then you can do it on your own. But I think a lot of people try, they'll listen to a video or say, oh, I'm going to meditate, and they do it, and then, without that help, without that pushing you a little bit so you understand exactly what to do and how to do it and how you should feel, and that the consistency is really important. It's one thing if you want to meditate 30 minutes in a week and you're just going to sit down and meditate, but it's far more important to do 2 minutes a day. And if you learn 2 minutes, if you learn how to do it in 2 minutes and then you can increase that to 5, doing that every day consistently is so much better than just, oh, I think I'll meditate today. So, and that comes with education, I think.
How does one find a good yoga mentor? Do you go to a yoga studio?
You can go to a yoga studio. I mean, I'm sure there's people that connect with people on television, or they can read a book about it. I really find that coming to a studio is far more beneficial because you have some connection and you have some ability to have camaraderie and really, have a team of people supporting you through your learning yoga. But it's really up to you. And I think what you need to do is find the person that's right for you. So once you've connected with the right person, the right kind of yoga, because now there's a million kinds of yoga out there too. The tradition that came over from India is not necessarily what we're seeing in studios. And so you can, if hot yoga or Bikram yoga resonates with you, then you should do that yoga. If a different kind of yoga does, I'm not particularly, I don't think some of the core yogas and the real physical yoga is actually yoga. I think that's a type of exercise where they've incorporated yoga. But yoga is a much calmer, steady, steady and calm is really all I can think about. Learning, you just keep plugging away until you find those things. And I think coming to a studio and having someone help you prevents you from having an injury, prevents you from feeling fatigued afterwards. It should be relaxing and energizing. It shouldn't wear you out.
If a person needs a knee replacement or a hip replacement, is it advisable to do a very gentle yoga, or is that going to be harmful?
I think you're always going to need a doctor's, the advice of a physician. I just really think that's important regardless. I don't know that you can help the injury before you've had a knee replacement, but I can tell you that after you've had one, that yoga is wonderful. So we have clients in my studio that have done both, hip or knee replacement, and just using that steady stretching and strengthening has helped their gait, has helped them, feel more relaxed about having that hip replacement or knee replacement. So once you have it and you've got a release from your doctor, yoga couldn't be a better form of exercise to keep you flexible with that.
Well, I think as people are living longer and healthier lives nowadays, everybody is concerned about balance. And I think that's one of the reasons we see so many walking sticks and walkers, because nobody wants to fall. So because yoga can really increase your balance, how does that go about with the different poses that one does with yoga?
Right. So when we talk about strength, you are using your muscles. It may not feel like it at first, or you may not.
That could be a good thing for a lot of people.
Exactly. And so you build up strength over time. You build up that flexibility over time. And then included in the postures are balancing postures. So, and that might be all inclusive. You might be doing strength and flexibility, strength, stretching, and balancing all at the same time. And pretty soon people are walking maybe without their cane, or at least more comfortable in their gait. The strength that you gain from doing some of this is going to change your gait from, I keep telling some people in classes, just be strong, keep doing this, because it'll keep you from shuffling. We never want to get to the shuffle, so stay strong.
So just stay strong and do these exercises, or these meditative exercises.
Yeah, so really in yoga, what you're trying to do is have your body and your strength, and so your physical body and your mind and your spirit all come together at the same time. And so it just is, it's bringing you inside yourself and taking care of your spirit. It's taking care of focusing, so it's helping you focus your mind while it's strengthening and strengthening. Or strengthening and stretching. So putting all that together.
So you become very graceful then.
Yeah. I would say so.
Some people, I know when they think about doing yoga, they think, oh my gosh, I have to do those stances and I have to stand on one foot. I can't balance. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm going to fall down. And I noticed lately that there's become quite a phenomenon with chair yoga. Can you explain a little bit about chair yoga, how it works, just so our viewers will not be intimidated that taking a yoga class is not going to be all about doing that stance on one
and yoga
foot.
Should be for everybody. And I don't mean everybody, I mean every body. So today your body might be different than your body tomorrow, right? But every day, no matter how you feel, I think yoga can be a benefit to you. And I think as you get older and get a little more fearful of, especially if you look at Yoga Magazine or one of those things and you see these beautiful young women on the front, then how does that compare to you? And the fact of the matter is yoga can do good things for you regardless. So we take that to all extremes. You take it to a power yoga class, and then we can take it all the way other way, so that if you have difficulty getting up and down off the floor, if you have difficulty getting up and down out of a chair, if you come to a chair yoga class, we can work on that. So there's you can gain all the strength, you can benefit from all the postures by sitting. We have, at my studio, we have two people that are quite lovely. One is 85 and one is 95, and they come every week. And you can see them change. One started in just chair yoga, and you can just move, if you can think about it, you can move every muscle, you can challenge every joint, you can do all that sitting in a chair.
Can you give me an example of that? Let's try
just
it.
sit up nice and straight.
Okay, let's sit up nice and straight.
So that's one of the things, taking the crown of your head to the ceiling so that you really elongate your spine. And then roll your shoulders back and just feel your posture change. And then just push your back, so you arch your back, you have a nice arch. And then bring your belly back in. Push your belly all the way to your spine. Keep pushing, keep arching your back. Now inhale, bring your belly out and bring yourself back. Exhale, push your belly to your spine, push it back. And just feel the muscles in your belly, in your back, in your shoulders all working. And
You do actually feel a stretching
yeah.
in there.
And that's one of the things we do down on our hands and knees. If you can't get down on your hands and knees, then we can do that same exercise just sitting in a chair.
And then just looking up for the crown of
Yeah,
your
so
head.
elongating your neck, bringing the crown of your head towards the ceiling. We can do another one. Just bring your arms up, reach towards the ceiling, and then go to one side. And then reach back towards the ceiling and go to the other side and feel your side body stretch. Breathe in and out so you can feel your sides stretch open, and then reach up. So you're elongating your spine and reaching and doing all the same things that we might be doing standing up. But interestingly, after...
And then I go to the side?
Yeah, just back and forth. So reach to the top, and then reach over, bending all the way over. And so when you open up that side body, breathe into it. Feel your ribs open, and open again, and then come back to the ceiling and just reach. Then you can even take one wrist and take it over to the side. So pull over and feel your side open and stretch. And then the opposite direction.
You know what's really interesting, Dana, is people cannot see behind the scenes here, but our whole crew is stretching
Giving it
and doing this yoga because we all need to
feels so
breathe.
good.
And
You know, we sit at our desk all day. And I used to set a timer when I sat at my desk. And if the phone rang, I'd stand up and find a tall posture. And if the, when your neck and back starts to hurt, just put your head to your chest. And then take your head over to one shoulder. And just pause there and let it stretch. So keep your head down. Yep, and stretch that way. Now bring your head back to the middle.
Oh, you can feel that.
And then bring your head over to the other side. And just pause and let that chin reach towards the shoulder, and you feel the whole side of your neck stretch, those are all the things that we just tense up sitting at the computer and looking down. So just, you can just open that up.
So that's just giving us the opening of all these different passageways.
Right.
And I don't think people stop. I mean, that is something that one can do sitting at a desk.
At a desk. So in a chair yoga class, I recommend it to everyone, even though you think it may be for older adults or people that have a hard time getting up and down off the floor. I recommend that everyone take it once, because everyone sits in an airplane from time to time.
We all do, for business, my goodness.
Or you're a passenger in a car where you're just like, oh, am I ever going to get out of this car? Well, I can, you can do some stuff while you're sitting there. You can do the same things with your legs, right, out in front of you. There's lots of things.
So now show us how to do that.
So just bring your leg up. Turn your foot. Just, let your ankle open up. Now flex and point your foot. Bring your toes all the way back. You bring your muscles all the way up your legs, and now point, and it changes that muscle structure. So you're strengthening your quadriceps, you're strengthening your calf muscle just by sitting.
And you have to do the same amount on both sides. Am I correct there?
Well, yeah. It would be appropriate.
It would be appropriate. Otherwise, one leg will be much stronger than the other.
Exactly. Or you'll walk lopsided.
That won't be good.
No. So there's that. There's the circles, right? You can just bring your hand under your foot or under your knee and do the same thing.
And that builds a little more strength.
Yeah, so if you bring your
this.
leg up a little further, then you can feel your hamstrings start to work, right? So I recommend it because I think it's good for people that are going to be sitting all day at their desk or going on a long trip. So just learning those things.
Now, what can you do in the grocery store when you're in line?
I love the grocery
store. Besides being on some kind of an electronic device, what can you do
Instead
there?
of looking down at your phone in the store, do the same thing. You start a tall, lengthy, stretched out posture is possible to do standing anywhere. grounding your feet into the ground, bringing that strength up, tightening your quads and feeling it, rolling your shoulders back and standing up nice and tall. You might as well stand that way. I do it all the time just because once you commit that to memory, then you do it. Right?
So when a person is doing this during the course of the day, they really are doing a meditative yoga at that point.
Yeah, you're being
Is that
very
correct?
mindful about your posture. You're just being mindful all the time is really, it just becomes habit, and the habit helps your health, and it just kind of transforms that way.
Now let's talk about breathing. I know there are many types of breathing, but I think our viewers would like to know how to really breathe. I think we're so busy nowadays. We're pushed here, we're pushed there, everywhere. Whether it's students in school, whether it's adults, in their professional careers, or certainly raising a family. Nobody has time anymore, and everybody is electronically connected. So.
Right, and it's really, there's a great push in the United States to just become mindful, right? Just become mindful of what you're doing at any point in time. You mindful eating, mindful breathing, mindful walking. But there's a point to it, and it's really important that we just stop and become mindful about the breath that we're taking. There's what's wonderful now, as opposed to 5,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago, or even in the 70s, that we have all this amazing technology, the same technology that's driving everyone crazy and keeping you, connected with a little white thing all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Talk about a codependent world.
Yeah, well, but the point is, along with that technology, we have a lot of medical technology and scientific technology now that we've never had before. And so what we are coming to understand is that the breath work that we do, or the meditation that we achieve on a daily basis, is actually making physical changes in our body. And they can tell that now because you can use an MRI machine, or you can, do some blood work and find out what's changed from this minute to this minute. They can put you in an MRI machine before you meditate and after you meditate and see the changes.
I bet there's a world of difference.
It's amazing.
Between those two.
And long-term meditators, really, they can look at those, but they are really looking at short-term meditators now. So, they'll put, a control group together and a group of people that are going to meditate for a specific amount of time every day, or breath work. So you can separate those two. It can be meditation or it can be breath work. But at the end of the day, they are seeing huge changes in any of those that they have tested so far. And it changes your blood pressure, so you can actually lower your blood pressure. You can find your heart rate decreases. There's, it's amazing for anxiety. So it's teaching people how to, just decrease.
Well, I think people are very, very stressed during the course of the day.
Right.
And there are too many things going on.
The world is really a busy place.
It is, and we're all part of it, moment by moment.
And if we could just take those few moments, and what I've recently discovered is it's not a 30-minute meditation. The point is not trying to find another 30 minutes in the day, because people aren't going to do it. But you can be mindful a minute at a time. You can breathe for a minute at a time. And the research is just so phenomenal that if you look at the research, then you're going to say, oh, not only can I do that, but I really need to do that. Right. One of my favorites is a British physician whose name is Dr. Watkins, and he has a couple of great videos on YouTube, but he's talking about how to be brilliant every day. And so he hooks these people up to heart monitors.
So explain to us how to be brilliant through doing a breathing exercise.
So he has, he's giving a lecture to a group of people, and he asks for a volunteer. The volunteer comes up, and he's got him on a heart monitor and breath, and he says, I'm just going to ask you some math problems. He goes, okay, great, I'm good at math, right? They've got this great camaraderie. And he starts asking him to count backwards. And he starts to count backwards by threes or whatever. And then he starts chatting with him. And you can see his heart rate just go crazy, right? Because he cannot,
too much stress.
He can't think anymore because there's a distraction, which we have all day, every day. I mean, think of this man chatting in your ear as a constant distraction. And then he teaches him how to breathe. And it's really just a calming breath, just an inhale and an exhale. repeatedly at the same rate. So count to 6 on an inhale, count to 6 on an exhale. And pretty soon you just find yourself relaxing. And then when he's at that point, he does the same thing. And as long as he continues his inhale and exhale, he counts back perfectly. But the key is that evening out of his heart rate. So the evening out of his heart rate allows his brain to work, because his brain's not going, oh my God, you're stressed out, I'm going to have to fix that, right? You stop that anxiety, that feeling of anxiety, that fight or flight feel.
Is that called conscientious breathing?
It could be conscientious breathing. It can be mindful breathing. It can be pranayama. It can be yogic breathing.
So tell me a little bit about pranayama breathing.
So pranayama is just the Sanskrit translation for, how it was handed down. And we teach a lot of pranayama in meditation together. And it's just taking different breaths. So a big yogic breath is one where you inhale really deeply into your belly, and you let it come up into your chest, and then you take a long, long exhale and make sure that all the air is out. Use your belly to press out every last bit of air. And those kind of breath work, you can do that 3 times before you get out of the car at a meeting, and
oh my gosh, one would never even think to do that.
Do better in your meeting. They show people learning this breath work. And as you learn the breath work, you really can tone your nervous system so that you can consciously change yourself from fight or flight into relaxation, right? From, this is not working well, to I'm going to be okay. And the breath, the more you do it and the more you concentrate on it, the more you tone your nervous system, specifically your vagus nerve, into making that.
And that vagus nerve, that whole center there kind of controls your up and down emotion that you have during the day.
Right. Your rest and digest. It really does a lot about your heart rate. It's your digestion. It's your respiration. It's really a control center. So if you can access that control center by just using breath work, then, the meeting's going to go better. When the red lights happen behind you, take 3 deep breaths before you interact with the policeman at your window, right? It'll just go better.
Well, Dana, I thank you so much for taking the time to come to visit us today and to remind us to take time to just connect within ourselves, because I think we all need that trigger point within our own body to say, you need this moment, whether it be in the grocery store, driving, getting out of the vehicle, etc. I thank you so much, Dana.
Thank you,
and
Sherry. It was good to see you.
Everybody has learned a great deal. Thank you so much for watching Wellness Update. Live each day. Life is so very, very precious.
This program was made possible with the generous support of the Magnolia of Millbrae. The Magnolia of Millbrae is a senior living community that provides a variety of services and amenities to its residents. For more information, call 650-697-7000 or visit their website at www.themagnolia.com. MCTV thanks them for their support.